Hi everyone. In this video, we are going to be looking at the importance of catching round 1 deadlines for a business school. How important is it? Does it significantly improve your chances of getting an admit into a business school? Is it the deadline that you should be shooting for, or the later deadlines will also help you? Is the focus that so many business school applicants have on round 1 deadlines, is it just a hype? Is it a myth, or are there facts to it? Let's evaluate it objectively. Let's look at the merits of applying in round 1 deadline initially. There are merits to catching the earliest round deadline. There are some subtle signals that you send to the business school. There are some clear objective benefits that you have having an admit with round 1 itself. Subsequently, let's also see if you can't catch round 1 deadlines, is it really that bad? Should you not focus on round total? Should you not even apply for round 2 or round 3? Or can you apply and it does not make such a big difference? Let's evaluate the entire thing in this video. I'm going to start with the merits of applying in round 1 deadline. The first and foremost thing that you do is you send a clear, unambiguous signal to the business school admission committee that you are a serious applicant. You have a serious intent of applying to this business school and you have planned things well in advance. Right? Typically, if you have to start your MBA, in the fall semester of 2022, which is say August 2022, the round 1 deadlines of applications will fall in September 2021, roughly a year before that. So, you are saying, hey, I am going to start my MBA in 2022 August. I know the application deadlines fall in September 2021. By this time, I am already prepared. I have got my GMAT in place, which typically is a 2 to 3 month preparation. I have done my language test, which is IELTS, TOEFL or PTE. And you also say that I have got my application essays done. It could be anything from 1 to 4 essays. And you said I have got my letters of recommendation in place. So, I've planned my MBA well in advance, something that's going to start a year from now. I know when the application is. So, I have probably started my journey 7 to 8 months before that I've got all of this in place. So, I'm a serious candidate is what you're essentially showcasing to the business school. That intent, that message that you're sending is a powerful message. And does that have value? Yes, it certainly has value. How much of a value? 100%, 10%, 5%, that's subjective. But you cannot be a negative value. It basically says that here is someone who is serious on an MBA and therefore has applied to us well in advance. That's the first message. The second thing is that this is quite subjective, but let's also factor in, because I cannot rule this out as a factor, is that you get compared with only round 1 applicant deadlines. Right, when the school starts its application calendar for the next year, round 1 application, when it's starting it, it's got a clean slate. When it moves from round 1 to round 2, it would have given admission offers to quite a few students who applied in round 1 and a few of them would have accepted it. So, just take some numbers. Let's say they have 100 seats to fill overall and they make offer for 40 students in round 1 and 25 of them have accepted the offer. In round 1, when you are applying, the school started with 0 on their slate, right? There's no one in their dashboard who has been admitted. But when they're looking at round 2 applicants, they have already 25 students who have committed to joining the business school. So, which means that you catch them when the slate is clean in round 1, whereas in round 2, they have already admitted certain people. What is the problem with it? Why is your chance likely to be a little lesser that way? The chance is going to be little lesser. One of the 2 counts. Essentially, whoever has been rejected in round 1 is not going to be evaluated with round 2 applicants. Whoever has got an admit, the case is closed. But there are people who are in between these 2. Guys who have not been given a rejection and guys who have not been given a complete admit. They would have been waitlisted. So, you are a round 2 applicant and you have someone with a similar profile from round 1 who has been waitlisted by the business school. Then they are going to be evaluating the 2 of you together. And at that point in time, if you are a round 2 applicant, you probably need to weigh in that much better than the round 1 waitlisted applicant to make the cut. There's also a second thing that comes into picture. If you come from a common applicant pool, let's say you come from an applicant pool which has a lot of representation in the business school and there have been adequate number of people who applied from that applicant pool in round 1 and a few of them have been given admit. We'll again go with this 100 as a number. If out of the 100 students and 25 who accepted the admission, 5 come from a specific profile. They're like IT, male, engineers, right? In that case, when you come in round 2, they already have reasonable representation from that community. Unless your application stands out really well, they probably do not want a 6th, 7th, 8th person from a similar profile. So, if you are applying from a competitive applicant pool, my suggestion is try and catch them in round 1. You're that much better off, right? The third reason is that there are certain schools in which it works this way. For quite a lot of schools, when you apply to the business school, the application is common to both the admission process and the scholarship process. In a few schools, it's a little different. They will provide admission and they will ask you to accept the admission, and only from the pool of people who have accepted admission will they want to evaluate to whom would they want to give scholarships, right? It happens in a few schools, not in many schools. So to those schools, you may have to probably submit a separate application with probably another additional essay to be written for the scholarship consideration. So if you go with round 1, you have time to complete all of these things. And the second thing, when it comes to the scholarship application, these are the school-based scholarships that we are talking about. There are other private and public endowments which also provide scholarships to students, right? There's a Mahindra Foundation. There's like quite a lot of other places where you could apply for scholarships. If you have a round 1 admit, to apply to those scholarships, the requirement would be to have an admission in hand. So you have a round 1 admit, you're qualified to apply to these endowments for a scholarship. So the school did not give you 100% scholarship. You might want to look elsewhere to supplement whatever scholarships you got from the school. So getting a round 1 admission, basically getting your application in and having an admission early on is going to help you with these other supplementary scholarships that you can apply to. The other thing, which is like not just restricted to getting into the business school. This is what you do in the business school and what happens after you get out of the business school. Right? For example, you come from what I call as a competitive applicant pool, right? You are a very well represented pool of applicant in any business school, right? In that case, what would you do? You would want to set aside your profile as something different from that popular or the most competitive applicant pool. You apply for round 1 in September. The admission notifications typically happen by the last week of December of 2021 or the first week of January of 2022. We are looking at this application calendar. In that case, you have a clear 7-8 month window available to you from the time you have the admission notification to the time you'll have to actually join the business school. Let's say you want to switch profile from domain X to domain Y. Let's say you want to say that I want to move from being a coding engineer in IT to a finance professional, right? If you've already got 3+ years of experience and you've got 3 years of experience in coding and you want to finally look at a post-MBA career which is going to be in finance, you might want to quit your job in January and look at doing certain courses like the NSC courses and also taking up internship with some financial services firm for this 6 to 8 months. Tell them well in advance, say I've got an admit here, I'm looking at an internship only, I'm looking at an internship to basically build my profile as a finance professional. So for a post-MBA job, when you're writing your resume, you'll say that, hey, I've got 3+ years of experience as an IT professional, I desired to switch to finance career. So I wanted to take a shot at finance and I know I'm now fit for finance because I worked for 6 to 8 months as an intern and really loved that experience and therefore I'm coming to it. So all of these windows are available to you if you basically get a round 1 admission. A round 2 application will be in January, the admission notification is going to be in April. That will leave you with very little room to basically quit the existing job and take up another internship and showcase that as something for your resume. So a lot of things that you want to fill as gaps in your resume, that can be done if you have a round 1 admission, right? You would have been a guy who has been a very straightforward, good student who worked in a company, got straight A's, got 3 promotions, but would have some gaps in your social services and other things. You might want to work for an NGO and build that gap into it, bridge that gap in your resume. All that is possible if you get an early enough admission. The second and most important thing, do not forget it. In a business school, you do 3 things. 1, you go and learn. 2, you build network with your peers and the college professors. 3rd, you also build a network to land up a job, right? Leaving aside the first and 2, they are important. I'm not taking credit away from them. Finally, you would look at the ROI of an MBA based on the kind of job you're going to be getting. And you also are going to work out with a set of relationships from this business school in terms of your peers and teachers whom you can fall back on. And you need to build those 2 things effectively during your 1 or 2 year stay in the business school, which essentially means that you need to do as much justice to your academics without compromising on the other 2. If you're an engineer, for example, financial accounting and cost accounting are things which you may not have worked at all in your life. If you get a round 1 admission, you have time to work on foundation courses either from Coursera or Udemy or any of these places and basically get a good understanding about these basics, right? It could be how to work with a case study, how to do financial statement analysis, how to work with cost accounting, bridge all of these fundamentals that when you go to a class there in a business school, you're well prepared in advance, you're able to grasp what is being taught effectively because you got the foundation in place and the amount of time that you have to invest in academics is a lot lesser. This definitely holds good for non-engineers and to a large extent even for engineers. There will definitely be a quantitative techniques paper in the first half of your MBA program in any business school, and that would mean if you are an engineer, revisiting calculus. If you are a non-engineer, getting your basics of calculus in place. So get all of those ironed out if you have an admission in January, between January and August, you can clear that in the business school, yes, you'll learn marketing, you'll learn behavioral sciences, you'll learn a lot of very management courses, the financial accounting, cost accounting, and calculus and the quantitative techniques. You could have covered it early enough that the amount of time that you need to invest for those academically in the first year would be that much reduced that you can focus on the other two activities, building a network within the group, within your peer group, and building a network so that your career prospects are enhanced. And lastly, this is something which you can't rule out, right? You got an admission. I'll give you two scenarios. Let's say you got an admit with a school which is 30th ranked school in the US, and it's given you, let's say, a 75% scholarship. This is round 1 over. Now that you have an admission, you've accepted it and other things, you can actually shoot for an ambitious school. Say I've got 75% admission, I've got it in a 30th rank school. Let me apply to the schools in the 10th to the 15th rank. And even if they give me only a 25% scholarship, I might be willing to take that risk for the better brand name that the school is bringing. So you can shoot for ambitious colleges in round 2. If you have a round 1 admit, you have something safe in your bag, you can take a shot at it. If you get it, wonderful. If you don't get it, you have nothing to lose. You have one admit already with you. Conversely, if you got an admit from a good school which is giving you only 20% scholarship, you're worried whether this is the right time to take a loan. What if I don't get a job? What if it doesn't, if my OPT is not a STEM OPT? Many thoughts go in your mind. You'll say, let me shoot a little lower. I've got an admit from a 15th rank school. Let me apply to schools in the 30th to 35th rank and see with my GMAT score and my profile, can I convert that into a 60 or a 70% scholarship, tuition fee waiver? If that happens, then my financial burden is lesser. I'm happy studying from a school where I have to upfront spend a lot lesser, that the risk that I have to take financially is that much lesser. You could shoot for that too. In that case, you have an admit, got a 20% scholarship, you have anyway bagged it, that's always there, you can always go to that school. But if you get something which is going to give you better financial relief in terms of the risk that you're taking, you could shoot for it. So having an admission in round 1 gives you this ability to play with this in round 2. And you can apply to round 2, quit your job, because anyway you have an admit. You can do all of these steps that I've talked about because you have an admit in hand. And you can also take a shot at round 2, either to shoot higher or for shoot for more money. One of these two can happen. For all of these things, there's definite merit in catching round 1 deadline. Right? Is your chance of admission significantly higher? I'm not sure. But the post-admission merits that you get by applying in round 1 is significantly a lot that you should try and catch round 1. What if you are not adequately prepared during round 1? I'm just going to give you an example. Let's say you have a GMAT score which is a 650 with your existing profile and you plan to catch round 1. While you very well know that if I prepare for another month and a half, I can take it to a 720. 650 existing profile round 1 versus 720 existing profile round 2. I'll bat for 720 existing profile round 2. If you think you are not going to be able to submit your best application in round 1, do not submit it in round 1. You can always gun for it in round 2. Put your apply only when you are at your best, right? You think that this is the best application that I can be submitting at any given point in time. Whatever round deadline that is, that round deadline is what you need to catch. If that happens to be R1, there are benefits to it. If it happens to be R2, get the admission, scramble for these things. Yes, you caught it late, therefore the benefits that someone would have had, someone could have been actually sitting in a lounge chair and doing all of these things. You might be running on a treadmill and doing the same thing. That's the only difference. Round 2 is not something that you should be saying that I won't be applying to. And round 1 is not something that you should catch at any cost. Catch round 1 only if your application is at its best. Otherwise, go to round 2 and present your best application. Best wishes for your GMAT preparation. Follow us on all of these social media handles. If it is Facebook, Pinterest, Instagram and Twitter, the handle is Wizako GMAT. The channel that you are watching in is youtube.com/Wizako, and on Quora we are in this space, gmatpreparation.quora.com. We run an online course for GMAT. If you're interested in joining a most comprehensive and affordable GMAT online course, then visit us at wzko.in/online. Best wishes.